Saturday night. Sabbth Vibez, the highlight of the week for an Israelite. Sabbth Vibez, it's on the 7th day. Sunday church service is alive. No, we don't like, we don't look, we don't fight. Sabbth, come get your spirit refreshed. We sing the word to be praised. We doing what the Most High says.
I can't sing, y'all. This is my joint, though. It is that time. It is that time. I know I'm starting a little bit later. I know you guys might have heard a few little songs I was playing earlier. I was waiting for the guests to get here. They're supposed to be here at 1. It's 2 o'clock. So I figured I'm just going to start, you know. And, you know, Lord willing, they come through so we can get some questions. In the meantime, between time, you guys can ask questions in the chat room. There has been some issues with the stream, so if the stream for whatever disconnects or goes down, just refresh the page. This show is on the public YouTube page, so you could just refresh the page. It'll put you back on the link if anything happens to the stream. I'm also recording this show, so if you're not a Patreon subscriber, just subscribe to the Patreon page. The link should be right there in the bio. I'll put it in the chat. And then you can watch the show without any interruptions and all that kind of stuff if, you know, the stream just drops or whatever. All right, so you guys see topic of the show today. Why does it say Freaky Friday up there? What the hell is going on in here? That is not the topic of the show. Hold on, y'all. What the hell's going on? Okay, today's topic, we talking about dress code. Dress code, that's the topic today. That was a show from yesterday. That was crazy. Alright, so you can see the topic right there. It's what we talking about is dress code, right? The question is, does what you wear matter, right? How do you know how to dress? Especially right now, we live in a crazy time right now where, you know, when I was growing up, it was, my era was what, tall tees, you know, the big jeans, headbands and do-rags and all that kind of stuff. And then came, you know, the skinny jeans, you know what I'm saying? Then for like a year and a half, dudes was wearing dresses and painting nails and doing all that kind of stuff. Also had a brother call during the week during one of the rollout shows, and he had mentioned that his lady was leaving the house and he kind of had an issue with what she had on. But he didn't know if he should say anything about it, you know. And this is also a topic of conversation that I've had with my sisters, you know, with my rib. I've had with guests on the show, off camera, of course. Shout out to Anika. We had a great conversation regarding dress code and is it important, you know? So that's the topic today. As normal, you know, we're going to pull some scriptures. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to try to keep this right here, conversation based. So hopefully I get, if you guys have questions, just put them in the chat. If not, I'm just going to go through some scriptures for y'all to kind of give you a basic understanding. First of all, the question should be, what is your culture, or whose culture are you following, right? For example, people say I dress how I want to dress, which is not true. We all dress based on what we're influenced by and with intention. For example, when you go to other countries, they have other dress codes. They have different ways of dressing. You know what I'm saying? And when they come here, they assimilate. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, the Chinese or the East Indian, or even the Middle Eastern. So Middle Eastern people, you know, when they're back home in the Middle East, they dress one way. Then they come to America, and often they assimilate. You know what I'm saying? And then they dress how they dress in America. You know, they may keep some remnants of their traditional garments, but for the most part, most people try to assimilate to the land, you know, that they're in, or the society they're amongst, you know. So for I always think this is funny, especially for like sisters. You know, if you was in the Middle East, you wouldn't have a lot of say so on what you wear. You know, that'd be delegated by your husband. You know, so just different cultures have different ways of dressing, and the importance of it. You know, the way you dress says a lot about you. And then too, so I probably should have to cover too, judgment, because I already know, I can hear it now, that somebody is gonna say, or somebody's thinking, "Thou shalt not judge," right? I'm sure that seems to always be a go-to, which is insane, because I think we judge by nature. You know, judging something is not something you have to consciously do. You know, that's something natural that just happens. You judge everything, you know. That's how you survive. You place judgment on things. You decide, is this a safe thing to do or is it unsafe? Is this food safe or is it not safe? Is this a safe environment for me to be in or is it not safe? That's a judgment. You know what I mean? When I was coming up, I remember I had to be very conscious of what I wore, right? That was a very day-to-day thing where I grew up at. So this is in Los Angeles and out here in the 818 area in California. So in Los Angeles, and this is like late 90s, early 2000s. So this is, to give you guys a hip-hop time reference, this is like East Siders. Y'all remember when East Siders and Snoop Dogg was popping? So, you know, in Los Angeles, we had a very strict dress code in Los Angeles, regardless if you was affiliated with the gang or not, right? So if you weren't affiliated with the gang, you had to dress so that you wouldn't be confused with the gang member, because you didn't want to absorb those issues. And vice versa, if you were in a gang, you know, you would dress a certain way to let other people know what you were representing. You know what I'm saying? So I remember growing up, I always wanted a starter's jacket. Starters was like the popping thing. My favorite basketball player at the time was Allen Iverson. He was playing at Georgetown. So I wanted a Georgetown starter jacket. And I had seen Boys in the Hood. I don't know if you guys remember the scene, but the Boys in the Hood with Ice Cube and Ricky, and they were all walking on Crenshaw during the car show. You know, in Crenshaw back in the day, they used to park all the cars and stuff on Crenshaw, like all the lowriders and stuff. And he bumps into this tall, dark-skinned brother, and the brother has this cold-ass starter Bulls jacket on. So if you need a reference, you guys can check out that movie if you're not from California. But yeah, so in California, that was known as like gang attire, was starter jackets. You know, each team represented a different neighborhood. So I really wanted a Georgetown starter jacket. My mom went to buy me one, and I remember I pulled it out. Or I think maybe my grandmother bought it from. I was a real little kid, and I think my mom told me I couldn't wear the jacket, you know, due to the neighborhood we were staying in. So I say that to say that dress code always matters, you know. I know today we live in a world where they tell you it doesn't matter, even though we get judged every day based on what we wear. So let's get some scriptures. Hopefully I get a guest to come in this mofo. I'm supposed to have 3 guests today, y'all, so hopefully they pull up. Hopefully y'all enjoy that little jazz music in the back. My Maria was playing that this morning, and it just put me in a good mood, so I thought I'd just play that in the background today. I'm going to pull up a scripture right now. Alright, here we go. So this first scripture I'm going to pull right here. Let me see. I'm looking for A man may be judged by his countenance. Let me see. This, I thought this was interesting. It should be in Proverbs. Let's see. Let me look at this chat room. Hopefully somebody pop up in this chat room, man. I want to have the callers come in. The phone lines are open. The phone lines are open. Let me give the number out real quick. If you have any questions, put it in the chat room. I see we got 3 people watching right now live. 818-914-4087. That is 818-914-4087. Here we go. Ecclesiasticus 19:29. If you were wondering. A man may be known by his look. Right? So all you brothers out there and sisters out there who be like, it don't matter what I wear, I can wear what I want to wear. That's not true. So it says right here. So, for example, like a lot of women will wear certain clothes and be like, well, just because I have this outfit on does not mean you should judge me. And you should call me or you should look at me like this because I'm wearing a certain attire. But according to Ecclesiasticus, that's not true. It says here, a man may be known by his look, that he have understanding, and by his countenance, what he means. Meaning, you can look at somebody's look on their face, and you can tell what kind of mood they in. You know, we look at people and see that they look down, and they look upset, that kind of thing. So, for example, today we call it, what do y'all call it? And what do they women call it? Excuse my language. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. I think it's called resting bitch face. I could be wrong about that. Or you know how somebody like when I was a kid, my mom used to always tell me like, yo, fix your face. If you black, you have heard this probably 1,000 times in your life, to fix your face, right? So that's the same thing the scriptures are saying. It's saying that you may be judged. You should judge someone based on how they look, what they're wearing, the countenance on their face. If you standing there, your face all screwed up, obviously you have an attitude. That's safe for me to assume that, you know. So let's get some more. Let's get some more. If you have any questions, put it in the chat room. If you want to, let me make sure this phone line is up. If you want to call in, 818-914-4087. Let's see. Let's get some customs, y'all. Let's get some customs. So the first thing I want to tackle is let's start with the head. Let's work our way down. So let's start from the top to the bottom on how men and women should dress. Right? And I'm just going to keep it as men and women because even though these laws are given to the house of Israel, which will be all you black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you guys are not aware, if you are a black, Hispanic, and Native American, or if you are the tribe from the 12 tribes, I'm gonna put a photo up later on in this breakdown, so you guys can check out the photo. And it's a 12 tribes chart. If you don't want to wait, you can just Google 12 tribes chart. Type in ISUPK 12 tribes chart, and it'll actually have a breakdown of all the scattered people that got taken on the slave ships and what they were called in the Bible and what they're called today. So you can actually just link it up right there if you're not sure if you're a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. But let's say it's safe to assume that you are. Even if you're not, you know, you can keep these customs because when Jesus Christ is the ruler of the land, everybody's going to have to keep these customs. So you might as well practice now. So this is Moses. This is in the book of, I believe, Deuteronomy. Let's see. Or this is the book of Exodus, actually. This is Moses talking. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them to wear fringes on all of their garments. Right? Now, I know most people, if you're much like me, you would be wondering. When I first read this, I was a little confused. I didn't really know what fringes were. So I'm gonna give you guys some historical context, because a lot of times maybe you don't even believe in the Bible, right? So that's possible. So I'm gonna respect that. Not that that's my problem or anything, but I'm gonna respect that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some historical content along with the biblical content. All right. So the Most High said to the children of Israel through Moses, and this is why this is happening. So at the time that Moses is giving this speech, the children of Israel had just come out of Egypt. Okay, so Moses is breaking down to them that when they go into this new land, they're going to have their own customs. They're not going to follow after what they were doing in Egypt, because obviously it didn't work out for them. So as they're going into this new land, Moses is giving them all their commandments. So he gives them a dietary law, which I'm going to cover the dietary law next week. He gives them the dietary law. He gives them their custom as far as their garments. He breaks down every single way of life that they're supposed to live once they get into their new land. Basically, he gives them a whole government system, right? Because you need a constitution in order to run any country. Every country has a constitution, right? That all the laws are based on. So this is what Moses was breaking down to the Israelites. He was giving them, so the 10 Commandments would be the Constitution, and he was breaking down the laws within the Constitution. If that makes sense, right? So he says, speak unto the children of Israel and bid them to make fringes on the borders of their garments throughout their generations, right? And put upon the ribbon, or put upon the fringe, a border. Look at that Pocahontas and all that kind of crap. But you've seen these fringes on these people, and no one ever explained to you why they wore the fringes. Here's another photo right here, and as you can see, these people right here, see how dark this brother is right here? But as you can see, this young lady right here has fringes on. That picture's in black and white. Here we go. So here's another garment right here of fringes with the border of blue. Okay? So this is what we're supposed to have on our garments. So how the Native Americans were dressing, that's how we were dressing. That's where they got the custom from. So if you need any biblical proof or you need historical proof of this, there's a great book. It's called Black Indian, A Hidden Heritage by William Katz. I think I have an image of the book in this slide right here. If I don't, I do. So you can and let's get the knowledge up. Let me give you the breakdown on why. All right, let me give you the breakdown on why. Let me see. Give me 1 second. There you go. If you got any questions, once again, put them in the chat room. Put it in the chat room. This is what I want to get. This is Numbers 15:38. Speak unto the children of Israel, bid them to make fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generation. So this is something we have to teach our children, and I'm going to explain to you why you have to put fringes on your garments. So I'm going to try to pick some fringes up either today or tomorrow. If you happen to know how to sew, if you know how to apply fringes onto something, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I can shoot you a Cash App if you can hook my fringes up. We can make it happen. Hold on, we got a question in the chat room. Let me finish up on the scripture, and then I'll get your question. He who thinks. All right, it says, right, so bid them to put fringes on the borders of their garments with a ribbon of blue. And this is the point of it. So when you get to 36, it says, and it shall be unto you a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord. And this is the important part. And do them, your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring. So what this is saying is, we're supposed to put fringes on our garments, right? So that way, if we were about to commit a sin, you can look down at your fringes, remember the agreement that you guys made with the Most High, that you would keep the covenant and all that good stuff and the blessings that come with it, and then you wouldn't do that. So here in America, for example, Christians, quote unquote, they wear a cross, okay? So if you have ever put a cross on and told yourself that this represents Jesus, then you have to put on fringes, okay? Because nowhere in the scripture does it tell you to wear a cross. In fact, that's blasphemy. And this is the reason. So Jesus Christ was killed on a cross, right? if that's why you wearing a chain or whatever. But if you don't know, a cross, he was not the only person killed on a cross. A cross was just a form of torture in that day. So just imagine in 2001, if Jesus Christ was killed with a AK-47, would you put an AK-47 on your necklace? So just put that in your brain. When you wear a cross, that's the equivalent to what you're doing. So if you do want to wear something to help you remember, to be to keep the commandments and do the commandments, we are all required to wear fringes and then pass that message down to our children throughout our generation. And I want to think if we did do that, we would not be in the situation we are in today. All right, so we do have a question from the chat room. He who thinks says, when you say blacks, Indians, and Hispanics are North Americans and South Americans. What do you mean by What do you mean by blacks are North Americans and South Americans? I'm not sure what you mean. He who thinks. But let me pull the 12 tribe charts up in case you guys haven't seen this. I just assumed everybody have seen this, but it's a good chance that maybe you haven't, and I'd love to share this information. So let's get this. Somebody made, and of course this is it's going to be a picture. Let me show y'all this so you can get the information. All right. So what you have here, you guys can see this. Let me blow this up a little bit. There we go. Bam! If you guys can see that right there, that's the 12 tribes chart right here. Okay. So if you are not aware of your history, the 12 tribes come from Jacob of family members. Okay, so all of us, Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, we come from that lineage of family, right? So you can look at this list right here. You can Google 12 tribes chart. Just type in ISUPK first because it'll just make it easier to find this particular image. They have a bunch of them online, but this is kind of the clearest one you can see. So if you can't see this right here, the first one says Judah. Judah would be the tribe that Jesus Christ came from, the lineage pool he came from. Judah is also the head tribe. That's why it's listed at the top. Judah is also what Jew is short for. So when people call themselves, when Caucasian people call themselves Jews, what they're referencing is that they come from this tribe right here, the tribe of Judah, which we all know is not true because Jesus Christ comes from this tribe. And last time I read, Jesus Christ was a black man. So this tribe right here are the African Americans, for lack of a better word, or the Negroes. Then you have the tribe of Benjamin right here, which is the West Indies. Then you have the Levites right here. All right, number 3, which are the Haitians, which would be like, what's my man's name? Wyclef. Then you have Ephraim, right? Then you have Manasseh, right under that, the Cubans. Ephraim is Puerto Ricans. And if you don't know, you guys should look up what these names mean too. So when they call this, what they meant by that are savages. They were calling them the West Savages, because when the white people went there to conquer them, they had such a hard time. Same thing with Hades. Hades is slang for hell. They were calling them like a hellish people because they couldn't conquer Hades. So that's why they named them Hades instead of the tribe of Levi. Puerto Rico is, I think, Port of Riches, if I'm not mistaken. So if I'm not mistaken, when they actually came up on the island of Puerto Rico, the original inhabitants were playing with, and you can actually read this information if you just do some research. But the original inhabitants, under that you have Asher, right, which is Colombia, right, and then you have Issachar, which will be Mexicans or the Aztecs, and then you have Naphtali, which would be Argentina. All right. So, and just so for clarification, that does not mean that all the people born in that space are part of the 12 tribes. This is talking about the original people that landed there when they made this. Dana Dane, what it do? Yes, I will be posting the second half of the show from yesterday, definitely. Let me know. Today we're talking about dress code. Doesn't matter. If we got some ladies in the house, I would love for the ladies to ask questions. Let's see, the black people in North America and South America, or are you talking about specifically African Americans? Right. So I just put the chart up right there. He who thinks. So I hope that that clarified that question. I'm talking about the original people who were put on, who left Africa. So if you guys don't know this, you guys can pick up the book of Maccabees, and it actually has this historical information in there. Okay, and you guys can actually read about when the tribes split. So the 10 of the 12 tribes split, and they came to America, and they populated the Americas. Right? You know this because, for one, they were keeping the customs. So we're talking about dress code, right? So Moses told all the Israelites they had to put fringes on their clothes. So how else would you explain that the Native Americans that were here in America were wearing fringes? That's a custom that they got from Moses. Same thing. This is why when they came to America, they built pyramids, because that's something that they learned to build over in Egypt. So the 12 tribes split. 2 tribes stayed over in Africa. You can look at an old world map. Just go to Google, type in old world map. And actually, let me do this for y'all. I don't know what I'm telling you to do. I got Google right here. Let me just get y'all the information, because if I tell y'all to do it, you might not do it. Let's see. So just type in old world map. And you can type in Negro land. Right? So if you type in old world map on Google, and then you type, or actually you can just literally type in Negro land. All right, let me show you guys what pops up. So if you type in Negro land on Google, it'll show you a really old map of Africa. Okay? So if you guys can see this right here, bam. Let me zoom in on this. This is Twitter. I don't want to go to nobody's Twitter. Let me go back. So if you guys can see this right here, this area right here, on this old map right here, this old world map was called Negro land. If you can see that right there. Bam, Negro land, right? And then you can even look down at some of the cities right here, and they have Hebrew names in some of the cities right here, okay? If you see right here, right? So this is the Gold Coast and all that. This right here, if you guys can see right here, is called the Slave Coast. So if you ever wondered how were black people put on slave ships and captured throughout Africa, it's because we were right next to the coast already. See that right there? So when we were in Egypt, we were practicing their customs. Moses gave us new customs as we were leaving Egypt. The 10 tribes that left there took those customs with them to the west coast, began to wear their fringes. Most of the tribe of Judah, and I believe Benjamin, remained over in the west coast of Africa. Right, so once the slave trade started, the first people to actually go into slavery were the Native Americans. It wasn't the black people, it was actually the Native Americans. So once they put them into slavery, then they went over to the west coast of Africa and got the remaining of the tribes. All right, but we're talking about dress code today. So I want the ladies, if we got some ladies in the building, I would love for the ladies to ask questions. Let me see, I pulled some scriptures that I wanted to go over. Shalom. Tabernacle of David, shalom. Let me see. Let me get some. I got some scriptures for y'all. Let's see. I pulled a bunch of stuff. I was hoping I had guests today, y'all. So I had a bunch of stuff lined up to ask these guests. I don't have any guests right now because they're running a little late. So you guys can please ask questions. Let's see. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Thank you for clarifying that. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. That is correct. Those were the tribes that remained over in the west coast of Africa, for the most part. So let's see. Let's get some scriptures on. Let's get some scriptures on clothing. Everyone has read, "A woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man." I'm sure every woman has read this. Every person have read this. And a man shall not put on a woman's garments. Now, what that is referencing is, keep in mind, Moses is telling them this as they're coming out of Egypt. So if you guys ever seen those old pictures of Egyptians, everyone wore dresses in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Everybody wore eyeliner in Egypt. They didn't differentiate between man and female. Eyeliner was cool for everybody, much like they're trying to do in the United States. Everybody could wear a dress, much like they do in the United States. So that was the message Moses was passing down to the Israelites, which was, we're in our nation, when we go to this new place, we're not gonna, in the lack of a better word, cross-dress. All right. So that's what he was breaking down to when he told them not to put on a woman's garments for the men, and then for the women not to put on a man's garment. Now, some women might be saying, well, I don't wear men's garments, I wear women's pants, right? I'm sure some women may say they wear women's pants. So let's get this right here, okay? Let's say that let's get this. Let's get this right here. This is 1 Timothy 2:9. In like manner also. So this is for the women. This is for the women who say, I wear women's pants, right? I don't wear men's clothing. Because according to the scriptures, you cannot wear men's clothing, okay? Yeah, he said, right. Right. So, Tabernacle of David says that the word in Hebrew that they're referencing is referring to war garments. So there's a difference between the garments that men wore in war, like priestly garments, and then the casual wear, right? But either way, you had to have the fringes on your garments, okay? But this is for the women. So if you justifying your belief by saying I wear women's pants, then you can go to 2 Timothy 2:9, and it says, in like manner also, that women adore themselves, that means put on, right, in modest apparel. Now, I find this interesting because anytime I have this conversation with somebody, with women, they always tell me, well, who determines what modest attire is, right? I like to just Google the word because as adults, we all know we cannot just make up our own definition of what words mean, especially when you're not the person writing the word, right? So I'm going to Google, right, the word modest, okay? Because this is the first thing that y'all need to get down. So if you say, well, I could wear women's pants, and that could be modest, you know? Let's see. Let's get the definition. It's giving me all this BS right here. Okay, here we go. Let's get the modest apparel. Let me put this on the screen for y'all. Boom, so you can see this right here. You see this right here? Oh, you good? You good? My sis just walked in. Look at this right here. Look at number 3 right here, y'all. Dressing in behavior so as avoid. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. If you are dressing, listen to this. Look at this, women. Look right here. Look at this. This is the part I want to get right here. Especially to avoid attracting sexual attention. So as a woman, if you as a woman, if you getting dressed in your as a woman, if you getting dressed, so your headphones are not plugged in, and your idea of getting dressed is, I'm gonna put on something cute, or I'm gonna put on something sexy. What's on, G? Have a seat. Oh, but the guest is in the building, y'all. We got some guests in the building. So if your idea of getting dressed is, I'm gonna put on something sexy, you're already out of order. Dressing sexy. You dig? So you cannot wear anything that's revealing, anything that's tight. That's for the ladies right there. The term modest fashion. What's up?
Is the mic on?
Yeah.
Well, is this mic on?
Let's see.
But I can't hear you.
4. You can't hear me?
No,
you can take them off. You can hear me without the headphones on. Yeah, you can hear me without the headphones on. I'll talk louder.
Peace, everybody.
Say something, Mike.
Peace.
What's going on?
All right, introduce yourself. Y'all don't have no. You want the cameras on?
I'm straight. Peace. My name is Michael Grant. You know what I mean?
We got Michael Grant in the house.
Definitely. flyness of the Hyundai.
We got Cheyenne Caldwell.
You ain't gonna give me your last name, man. You gotta do all that.
Well.
You gotta get a nickname on the microphone. You can't.
Okay, so it's Shy.
No, that's not gonna work.
Okay. Dress code.
Yeah. So today we just talking about dress code for the men and the women. We got the chat room open over here. All right, so I just want to have an open forum conversation, right? So we don't have to stick to necessarily the scriptures. All right, so Mike, where you from?
From South Jersey and came in from Charlotte.
I thought you was from North Carolina. You from South Jersey?
Yes, sir. Came in from Charlotte.
I went to Jersey. I stayed in New York for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Word.
I love Jersey.
Yeah.
Even though I was in what's the worst part?
South Jersey, man.
Nah, everybody tell you don't go there. What's the part?
Oh, you talking about Trenton?
Nah, give me the other one.
Camden?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to go. I had to go meet up with somebody, and I hit my partner, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go meet up with some dudes, and get something from them. He's like, where you going? I'm like, Camden. He's like, oh, no, nigga, don't go over there.
Yeah,
he was like, nah, don't go over there. I'm like, man, what you mean don't go over there? He's like, don't go. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna go over there and check with my people. And it was cool though. Actually, I like Jersey. I like Jersey a lot. It was cool. Let's see, shalom, peace and greetings, Mike. Oh, they saying what's up to y'all.
Peace.
In the chat room.
What's up?
Yes, Dana, of course you can call in.
Of course.
It's an open platform. Of course you can call. That's why I'm doing the show. You know what I'm saying? Here from my pleasure. You don't know. The phone number is 818-914-4087. All right, so the question of the day is dress code. We're talking about culture, right? Because as everybody here in this room, you guys can't see us. We're not on camera, but everybody in this room is black,
Most definitely.
right? So I would assume that we all suffer the same shit, which is we all lost our culture.
Most definitely.
So the conversation today is dress code. Does it matter? And does God care how you dress?
Dress code definitely matters because you don't want to give off the wrong signal. That's period, point blank. Whether you being a man or a woman, you know what I mean? Because
Oh shit, that was fast.
that's quick.
That was fast. Caller. Caller.
Hey,
Who is it? Dana?
it is. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What's going on?
Hey, okay, so you're doing a show on, let me clarify this. I put it in the chat, but you thought I wanted you to post yesterday's show. I was saying it was a really great show.
Oh,
Like the second half of the show.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna post that for y'all. Oh, you already Patreon, so you already got it. You good?
No, I listened twice, and I just was howling out loud. It was
Oh,
so
thank you
sweet.
then.
And thank you so much for being transparent, Nick.
I-
It's not like you, but that was really a great treat to hear you talk about yourself.
Yeah, I try to be honest as possible. All right, so
Okay, on to the topic. You're talking about dress code, but I know I'm hearing you reference like Bible scriptures about what was worn and what was to be worn and not to be worn.
right.
So I'm thinking of, in today's culture, and what I was thinking was that for our people, black people, I'm talking about specifically, it's pretty much like the horse has been let out of the barn and it's running and you just can't get it back in. So I think as women, we need to govern ourselves with our clothes and not take this attitude of, oh, I'm wearing this and, I'm not causing myself to be raped or I'm not provoking or anything, but dress does that.
Right.
And revealing different parts of your body and your whole attitude about it.
It's a form of self-respect. Peace.
And also that the conversation, because I had a little talk with people on TikTok about this same topic, and they were saying that basically men shouldn't be looking or men should control themselves. How do you feel about, them saying that?
That's incorrect. And I do believe men should have a certain decorum and discipline. But anybody's going to look. Women are looking at other women, not only men. Why is she wearing that? Or why is that so revealing? Or why are her boobs out? And that's across the board. I'm in a corporate America, and I see, coworkers and people that work in the building are revealing more. Women have their breasts out, they're wearing push-up bras, or they have very large breasts, but they're wearing inappropriate bra size, not their own.
But why?
I believe it is to bring attention. One of the things that I've noticed about society is that everybody is addicted to attention. Everybody wants some form of attention, whether it's negative or it's positive.
But
So they'll
attention,
take what they can get, but then they also have the attitude of, well, why are you looking at me? Well, why you come over here? Oh, put your eyes up here. You're talking to me.
but that
Well,
attention,
your
that
roots are
attention can
out.
be a form of insecurity as well.
Yeah, I believe it's insecurity too. So I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, we need to govern ourselves and be more disciplined if we don't want that type of attention.
I agree. I brought out a scripture earlier that says a man may be known by his countenance and his look. So, you know, often we hear you shouldn't judge people based on how they look, but I think that's probably the dumbest thing somebody could say to somebody else. So how do you feel? What do you think a woman's dress code should be?
I think it should be appropriate.
And
that's age appropriate. I've noticed that, you know, when I go to Target every summer or any of the stores, the shorts for the young girls, the junior sizes, is like 2 inches up. They're practically wearing Daisy Dukes. And that's for all sizes.
So
believe
what
it's
do you...
inappropriate. I see the little girls, the ones like, you know, 2 and 3 years old wearing like a wedge or a little heel, and I'm like, what's that for?
Right. So what do you think the dress code should be?
Like I said, I think it should be age appropriate. I think we should cover up. I'm not saying down to the knees, but wear, you know, a mini skirt. It doesn't have to be where your butt is hanging out.
Okay, well, tell me how you feel about this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is 1 Timothy 2:9. It says, in like manner also, let the women adorn themselves in modest apparel. We just read the definition of modest. There she is. Let the women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefaced and sobriety. Right? And then it says, not with broidered hair, gold, pearls, and costly array, which basically means don't put all your energy into the outer appearance. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that?
I think that, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is that, when I hear that, I think about, and I'm a person that wears lashes. I know there's a big thing where, you know, men aren't happy about the makeup and the lashes. They believe we're overdoing it. But we should adorn ourselves appropriately. Our boobs should not be out. Our ass should not be out.
So it's...
And even in a suggestive way where we're just overdoing it.
Okay, so I agree 100%. And you mentioned something. Have you ever read this? When you said eyelashes. Actually, Cheyenne, you read this. You're a young lady. So a lot of women did. I didn't even know this. It's Ecclesiasticus 26:11. Here, you can actually.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not on the King James.
Here, check out this right here.
I remember you read this during the show.
Watch over an imprudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass. Yeah, against thee.
Right. So what happened was the custom of putting eyeliner and eyeshadow on. We got that from Egyptians. And the reason they were doing it was to seduce people, right? So if the Bible is telling black women that you have to be modest and shamefaced, meaning that gets rid of the eyeliner shit right there. Your lip gloss pop in and get rid of all of that. You can put regular Carmex on, nigga. You understand? But that's what this is saying. We cannot take on other cultures of people because it ain't working for us.
As you can tell, just
it is.
But like I said, the horse is already out of the barn. So nobody's going to bring that back in. Industry is $1 billion industry. I'm not saying overdo it and pack it on and everything, but Nick, that's not going to change.
Why not? And this is why I say that, because I changed.
Okay.
And I've watched my sister change in less than a month.
Oh, well, it's your positive influence.
That's why I'm on the air right now. I believe
it's your positive influence, and also, you know, she's around her dad. So when you have that influence and you don't want to disappoint your elders, you take on that position, and And you want to be respectful. Like, I respect my brother. I respect my father. And if they deem something inappropriate or they're giving me feedback or suggestions, then I like that. I like that she's taking that, information.
Now, what about your? I don't know if you have somebody, but what about your man? Can your man take that position? I know you said your brother and your father, but could your man take that position?
Yes.
Oh no. Okay.
And he should. He should be, wanting me to do better. Like I want him to do better. That we support each other. And I don't mind constructive criticism and being given instructions.
There we go. All right, Dana. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, I like her.
All right, Dana. Thank you.
She good.
If you have any more questions, please let me know. Thank you, Dana.
Okay.
Thank you. That's what I'm
I'm ready
talking
to hear
about.
what the men have to wear.
Wait, real
Since we
quick.
always
So this is in response to what Dana said. This is Romans 6:1-2. What shall we say then? Shall we continue to sin now that the cat's out of the bag? Right? That's what she said. The cat's out the bag now. We see what I'm saying? So it says, what you say then, shall we continue to sin that grace may abound? And part 2 says, God forbid, which means hell no. Okay? That's what that means. Okay? So if you were wondering, can you just be in your sin and chilling and everything is cool? The answer to that is no. All right? So strange apparel for women, right? Which would be anything that's not modest. All right? So if a woman is attracting sexual attention from a man, she is out of order. Period. Women cannot wear pants. Period.
Why are you looking at me?
Because my wife ain't got no pants. So women cannot wear pants. Because think about this, right? Think about this, right? First, if you should anybody listening to this, do your own research on the history of pants. Right? Women's pants are called what? Bloomers.
Oh.
That's named after a woman because she invented women's pants. Right. Now, you ever heard the term, who wears the pants in the house?
Oh,
Yeah.
Most definitely.
That's because men wear the pants.
Right.
Meaning wearing pants signifies who's the leader, who's in control. That's what pants represent on a spiritual level. Regardless of how you may feel about it, on a spiritual level, that's what it represents. Is the person wearing the pants, that's the person in control.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the ideology behind it. So that's what, and the only way something works is if everybody plays their part. If we on a team, and you the point guard, and I can't clap for the ball. I got to go run to the spot and do my thing. If not, we're not gonna be successful. So the men got to be the men. They got to wear the pants in the house. The women got to be the women and put on the dress. Women, black women, you have to dress modest. If not, I'm gonna read to y'all what's gonna happen. Okay, let's get to the men though. If I need you to pull a scripture.
What's gonna happen?
Pull bald head. I'm gonna get to what's gonna happen to you.
Oh.
If you don't, I'm gonna read the punishment because often we hear you're gonna be punished, but we don't know what that means, right? Like you heard about lake of fire.
I heard about it.
You know what a lake of fire is?
Ring of fire.
Yeah, I was thinking
You know what a lake of fire is?
Nah,
Because in the Bible
It's a lake
it says
full
you're gonna be
of fire.
thrown into the lake of fire.
I'm assuming you're gonna be thrown into some fire.
But what would that be in reality? You're an artist.
Yeah, in reality.
In reality, right? If you had to paint a lake of fire, right? What would that be in real life? When have you ever actually seen a lake of fire?
Never.
Volcanoes.
That's a lake of fire?
Yeah.
You ever seen lava before?
Yeah, but
Doesn't it flow like a lake? Isn't it fire?
Yes, it is.
That's what it's talking
Wow.
about. Right. Right. It's
Forgot we
right.
Talk about
That's
that
an
too.
eye-opener.
So when it talks about
Right.
and when it talks about you will be put into the lake of fire, that's not fictitious.
Yeah, you're gonna throw you in the volcano.
That's what that's talking about. You're gonna be put into lava, alive.
Scared.
I mean, well, you
Alive.
die quickly.
Jesus said it's gonna come a time where people who are served him will come up to him and he gonna say, "Get away from me! I do not know you."
I don't know.
And that can be because you're doing the wrong thing, you celebrating the wrong thing, you can be dressed out of order. We're going to get how important it is. What's going to happen when he get back and niggas is dressed out of order. We're going to get what's going to happen so we can get the whole thing.
Yeah, let's talk about the dress code for the brothers.
Yeah,
Let's talk for the
I'm
brothers.
curious.
Did you get the beard? Get the beard for me. So, one of the commandments was for the brothers, thou shalt not make baldness on thy head. That's a custom we learned from Egypt. So, Michael Jordan, Floyd Mayweather got hair now. Shaquille O'Neal.
That's very interesting.
You cannot make baldness on your head.
Don't cut your hair.
You cannot shape. Listen, y'all. I love to prove things spiritually too. So you don't have to just stick to the Bible. I'm prove to you spiritually. the scripture says, this is Leviticus 19:27. Once again, this is Moses giving the Israelites commandments after they're leaving Egypt. In Egypt, there was a custom that they didn't have any hair in Egypt. This is why you never see pictures of Egyptians with hair. You only see them with the beard thing on, which was a fake beard. So you know anything about Egyptian culture, that was a prosthetic. That wasn't a real beard. Men and women wore that beard. It was a sign of being a king or a rulership. So the longer the beard was a sign of your rulership. So it didn't make a difference whether you're male or female. They all wore that same beard. They all wore They all wore eyeliner. They all shaved off all their hair and they wore wigs. And so everybody in Egypt basically cross-dressed. Right. So this was the point of not shaving your head. Right. You're not, as we get older as men, our mentality should not to be one to look younger, like a boy, right? Which is what they teach you in America. Shave your face off, you know, dye your hair back black. Can't do that because we're not supposed to look like boys. As we gain wisdom and knowledge, we're supposed to look like we have wisdom and knowledge.
Absolutely.
I think about like my grandfather. My granddad looked like a granddad. You know what I'm saying? That nigga wore button-ups, and, you know, he looked like a granddad. He wore leather sandals with no socks, and he did that whole thing. And I think about my dad, like, dang, my dad's a granddad. He's not an older granddad, but I'm like, one day he's going to be an older granddad. I was like, dang, is he still going to wear Jordans and sweatpants? And like, or is he going to dress like a granddad, you know?
I think he's going to still wear Jordans.
Yeah, I know, because the culture changes. But right. So Leviticus says, you shall not make baldness on your head or around the corners of your beard. So for the men, you cannot shave your beard.
I got a question about that. My beard don't grow like that, bro.
If it don't, you can.
It don't grow like that.
I didn't say it has to grow any kind of way. He didn't say it got to grow like nothing. It ain't even got to grow.
Right.
But what you can't do is shave it.
Completely off.
You cannot shave the corners of your beard.
I was like 17 when I did that one.
And the Most High, that's what the book says. Okay. So for the men, you are to not shave your head, not shave your face. The spiritual proof of this is what happens to most black men when they put a razor to their skin. You get hair bumps.
Right.
White men don't get hair bumps.
Why is that?
Because the Lord told you not to do it. That's why it's happening to you. That's a curse. That's simple. When you read not to do something and then you go do it and you wonder, why are we getting affected like this? Because it's probably a commandment telling you not to do it.
Cause and effect.
He didn't tell Caucasian people not to shave.
Right.
He didn't tell
black people.
Right. Moses was only talking to the black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Y'all can't shave your face. You can't shave your hair off, right? For the women, another part of the dress code, it also, you got your head covered? It also says that the head of every man is Christ, meaning, how do I know what to do? How do I know how to dress?
Right.
We read the scriptures. Follow Christ, right? He'll let you know. For the women, how do you know? It says, for the women, the head of every woman is her husband.
Most definitely.
Meaning, how does she find out how to dress?
She looks to her husband?
That's what I'm about to say.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's how, because the husband is Lord. Lord just means ruler. Right? It says, love your husband as you love the Lord. Meaning, the same respect your woman will give to God and Jesus.
God give to you.
Because you are the representation of that here on this earth.
Most definitely.
He's the one, he chose you to be in charge. So when your woman wants to know, this for the men out there. My brother called in last week about this. Your woman has to be in order. So if she wants to know, is this a modest thing to wear? How should I dress? Ask your husband. You don't have a husband, ask your father. You don't have a father, don't ask your homie that's your brother. Don't ask that nigga. That's not the nigga to ask, okay? Ask me. I'll give you some life advice. Nigga. Or just look up the word modest. If you are attracting any kind of attention, any kind of sexual attention, you out of order. Point blank, period. You guys can see this. My brother here got his hair dyed.
Most definitely.
Right. Cheyenne, can you give me the scripture? So we know that we were in captivity in Egypt.
Yeah.
Right? Pull don't envy thy oppressors. Just type in KJV. Let's see, I think what? Sweet Wonka, I don't understand. You think beards? I'm sorry, but I think beards are unsanitary.
What?
Okay.
Oh, I want to grow a beard.
So according to the scriptures, a beard is a sign of manlyhood.
Most definitely.
So you said you think. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. You can think what you want to. That doesn't change the reality, right? So the person who is judging all of this, states you're supposed to have a beard. There was a time where you wouldn't even be allowed in the city as a man if you didn't have a beard. So if you went and you shaved your beard off, you couldn't come back to your beard group back. That's how serious they were about it. Like it wasn't something to be, to be glossed over. And we gonna listen, Sweet Walking. I'm gonna get y'all. When we wrap this up, right before we wrap it, I'm gonna get you what's gonna happen if you're not in order when it all comes to fold. Okay, did you find that?
She's still there.
Yeah.
It says, envy not thy oppressors,
Yeah.
follow none of their ways. Well, I just told you the scripture. Envy thou not their oppressors,
Yeah.
follow none of their ways. Meaning, any and everything you're about to do,
Yeah.
whether it be your hair, your what you eat, how you dress, we have to go back to our culture, right? So we should look at these things and say, where did we get this from? Where did it come from? What's the history on it, right? Because Egyptian people had you in slavery, right?
Most definitely.
So you adopting the same people's culture who put you in captivity. Does that make any sense?
Yes, because it was stripped from us.
No, but does it make any sense for you to continue to appropriate
No,
their
that does not
culture?
make
Right,
sense.
because obviously they don't like you. That's obvious because they put you in captivity. You feel me? So that's the part we can't, huh?
The dispute, like, you always have a dispute with me. Do you have something back to say about it?
No, you say your
About
piece.
like the color, like dyeing your hair.
My hair?
Yeah.
Well, when it comes down to me,
Like, don't feel like express it.
Yeah, it's
Express
open
it.
forum.
Love
Yeah.
it,
When it comes down to me, like I say, for me, my spiritual intakes, I connect with Source in a different way. You know what I mean? And like I said, I feel like, how Source told me, no matter for me how my image is, as long as I'm fulfilling purpose, you feel me, everything is good. You know what I mean? And I know you feel me because like I was hesitant to even dye my hair, but once I dyed my hair,
Oh, let's get the spirit in it then.
Come on.
Why were you hesitant?
I don't know.
You know what that's
and I
called?
was- I'm
You
not
know what
gonna
that's
lie, I
called?
was hesitant
that?
That's
too.
the spirit.
I was hesitant too.
Because it says a righteous man's steps is guided by the Most High. There's no hesitancy in it.
Right.
You don't hesitate.
Right.
You know what that hesitant was? Telling you not to do it
Mm.
because it didn't fit. This is what people don't understand about the body, right? DNA. What is DNA? DNA is literally recording everything that happens to you. It's
Okay.
recording it into your system, right?
Interesting,
Okay,
yeah.
You can.
Science.
I'm gonna break down science for y'all, okay? DNA records every single event that happens in your life, right? And then you have a child. You put that information into that child. So the information from your ancestors being beaten by Africans and forced to take on their customs is in your body.
Right.
That's why you hesitated to take on their customs. You didn't have the knowledge to know that you were messing up, but your spirit knew that something was off.
Still look good with it though.
No, the Most High think you looking feminine.
Nah, most
I'm
definitely.
not
Most
going to
definitely.
offend you
Most
because you my
definitely.
brother, so I'm not going to offend you. The scripture says this is how he sees it. He does not. Let me pull up. The Lord has put a difference between you and the Egyptian. The Lord says over and over, he does not like the Egyptians. So if he destroyed the Egyptians and you dressing like the Egyptians, who team are you on?
You technically on the Egyptians, right?
You appropriating their culture, right? Now you as a creative, I would think you'd be the kind of man that want to do your own thing.
And I'm doing my own thing.
That's not your own thing.
How is it not?
That's an Egyptian thing.
How?
Do the history. Ask Cheyenne. She did. Look, she did the history. 'Cause I told her the same thing. She didn't know.
But as such, being my creator, you feel me, as being a creator, I definitely reinvented myself. I hesitate. Yes, I did. I hesitated, but I feel this is me. You know what I mean?
Then why did you hesitate?
I don't know. It was something new. I hesitate with everything that's new.
Why would you hesitate? Move his tongue. You know how the police sick dogs on black people? This what this is saying. Dogs shouldn't even bark at you. That's how special we are. They should train their dogs that when we come by, silence.
Right.
That's how deep this was, right? Should not a dog move his tongue against man or beast? Meaning they shouldn't even say shit to us or our cattle or animals or nothing.
Right.
That's how important we were, right? That ye may know that the Lord has put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. So for everybody who think you're an African, you cannot say that no more. Just blew that shit up right now. The Lord has put a difference between the Egyptian and the African, right?
What's the difference?
Let me read it right here. Pull up, the Lord has shown you amongst all the nations. And then pull up too, he has not dealt so with any other nations. We are the only nation that the Lord has given his customs to in his laws and commandments. He made an agreement with us, right? Let's ask yourself why. Who does everyone follow on the planet, culture-wise?
Us, black people.
Right. Whatever we do, that's what the world does. Hip-hop. You can see hip-hop anywhere, right?
Most definitely.
Right?
Hair, the way we dress, everything, dancing,
talk.
all that, the way we talk.
Everything.
Everybody copies us, right? So that's done on purpose. So if we're following the Most High's commandments, what is the rest of the world going to do?
Follow the Most High's commandments.
It's that simple. See how simple that's laid out? That's why we have to keep our own customs, because the rest of the world's going to be in order.
Right.
If we're the leaders, we cannot afford to follow anyone else's customs. It doesn't even make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then if you do, that signals to me you're not a leader. So now I have to remove you out of that leader. I got to move you out of that leadership position because you don't want it. You don't want to stand and be your own individual.
Right.
And have your own customs.
Most
right. This is John 15:6. You asked the difference, right? Ye have not chosen me. So for all you black, Hispanic, Native American, you did not choose to love God. That did not happen. This is what he's telling you right here, okay? Ye did not choose me, but I have chosen you. This is not the one I wanted, babe. This is still good. I've chosen you in ordinance, and you shall go and be fruitful, and that the fruit shall remain, and that whoever shall ask of the Father in his name, he may give it to you. So we did not choose to be God's people. We didn't choose to say, oh, I want to be a child. You cannot choose to be an Israelite.
Right.
Right? None of us can choose. Someone cannot choose to be a part of this culture. The Most High chose you. He picked you from the gate to be a black man, to be a Negro, right? He could have made you an Egyptian.
Damn.
Easy.
Yeah. Facts. Facts.
That's the reality of the situation. He could have just made you an Egyptian and just kept it like that. But he chose to make you an Israelite, right? And then he gave you certain rules and laws to follow. That's why your spirit felt a little off when you wanted to dye your hair. And you have to respect those things.
Right.
Often, especially when we're young, we learn to turn those voices down. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to stick out. We don't want to be the oddball.
Right.
We really want to blend in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we start to turn them voices down. Every time. You always hear that voice in your head.
I hear mad voices in my head.
You listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen to them. When that thing tells you not to do it, I don't know, I'm not sure, listen to it. Don't avoid that right there. Let me get to the chat room. If you got, Cheyenne, you got any questions? Anybody got any questions? Throw them in there. Let's say, yeah, I don't really care about Europeans, to be honest with you. Like, they got their own problems. I ain't tripping. But the Most High don't want black men, Hispanic men.
Oh, that's a good question. Did you see what sweet?
No, go ahead.
Okay, he asked Nick, are all black and / melanated people on Earth considered to be Israelites?
No, I just put up the 12 tribes chart a minute ago. No, you can actually, this is, if you want to know how to identify somebody being part of the 12 tribes, first of all, it does not matter what your mother is, unfortunately, or fortunately. It doesn't matter what your mother is. It's dependent on who your father is. And you can also tell if you fall under the curses that are listed in Deuteronomy. It clearly states that these curses are put there to be a sign. That's the point of you getting all this backlash.
Did you say Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy.
Elaborate. Who's that?
Deuteronomy is Moses talking.
Okay.
So Moses talking to the Israelites. He's giving them, because they're leaving Egypt.
Okay.
Right? They're leaving a whole culture. So imagine if we all today said, you know what, we're getting the fuck out of America. We out.
Right.
We would have to go somewhere and say, look, obviously when we get there, we cannot drug deal, gang bang, everything we're doing, because it's going to be the same thing.
Right.
We're going to have ghettos. We already know this. So we would come to an area, and we all finna sit down, and somebody going to give a speech on, this is how we're going to conduct our new land. These are the rules and regulations. So he's laying them out for them. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. This is how you're going to dress, how you're not going to dress. And what is this based on? Is it based on how Moses personally feels? No. He's basing it on history. Because he's coming from Egypt. It'd be just like coming from America. And if we move into a new place and I'm telling the child, hey, you cannot gangbang. No Bloods and Crips. The child hasn't lived that experience, so he doesn't know. You understand? But me living it, I know. I can tell the child, no, we can't bring that to this new land. That's the same thing Moses is telling these people. And look at all the habits that we copy from Egypt.
Right.
I'll tell you another one.
Which led us corrupted.
I'll tell you another one. This is a bad habit black people have, right? It says, do not mark your skin, right? But what does it say after that?
Don't know. What does it say?
Pastor always stop. He always stop by saying, you ain't supposed to get no tattoos. If you read right after that, you'll know who he's talking to. He says, do not mark your skin for the dead. Because who puts RIP tattoos on their bodies when their family member dies? Black people do that. White people don't do that.
Right.
Asian people don't do that. They'll put a dragon or something like that. They don't put the person's name and their face and all that shit.
Right.
That's a custom we picked up from Egypt.
Interesting.
We learned that from, and we still do that to this day.
I ain't got no RIP tats on.
Right, but that's,
I do.
she does.
Yeah.
Right, but that's a, right.
Right.
You see that right
I
here.
sent that to him.
She sent that to me. I sent her the scripture.
I
sent her the scripture.
From my perspective, that's the energy that you carrying. It's like you're gonna see
You carrying
that
dead energy,
Exactly.
though.
You're gonna see
Right.
that every single day.
And the Lord said he's the God of the living, not the dead. He hasn't, he that's it. So why would you want to carry, and think about, like you said, think about the energy that carries, right? If someone killed my brother and I tattooed RIP that person on me,
You carrying all that.
I can heal from death, right?
Right.
Over time. If I have a constant reminder, though,
Yeah.
I'm not going to heal from it. It's going to be a constant reminder to get that revenge,
Right.
to do something about it.
Mm.
That's the cycle of
Programming.
That's the cycle that we create. We created this cycle, though, because we took them customs from Egypt and carried them on.
Mm.
Right? So at some point, we got to realize what we're doing. How do we break these customs? What should we do? Right? We shouldn't be tattooing our bodies with dead people or something. We really should be getting tattoos. But the point of that scripture was the custom was they were doing it for dead people. You know what I'm saying? That was
So
the
it's
custom.
still
That
no to the tattoos.
well, the ink from the tattoos link into your blood.
Right.
Right.
Which,
So on a holy sense, like you don't want to put ink in your blood system. But
That's not purification.
right, but the context in which they were saying
you
it,
know that?
Come on, man.
Then
Yeah.
why do you have so many tattoos?
I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. I'm gonna tell them why. I know why. I'm gonna read out the scriptures why. They wrote it down like 4,000 years ago. Why you do what you do. We hard-headed and stiff-necked people. But like you said, it's DNA programming. We don't know where this tradition comes from. We don't know where these customs come from.
Right.
Right? So we're just gonna put things together, create our own reality. Because everybody needs a tradition. Everybody needs customs. Everybody needs history. Everybody needs culture. That's the one thing that holds all the other nations together. Is culture.
Right.
That's why a Chinese man can go
That's
into a
the
new
same thing that
town.
divides everybody too.
It only divides us. It hasn't divided the Chinese man. Who wants everybody together? Whose philosophy is that? Have you ever read that in the Bible?
Now, who philosophy is that?
That's the white man's philosophy.
That want everybody together.
Yeah, it's called the
I thought it
United
was-
States.
Mm.
Oh.
It's literally called the United States. They're trying to unite everybody.
Everything is African.
Nobody. There's no
Russia,
one race in
China.
America.
Right.
It's all races. It's a big melting pot, right? Just like what else? When else did we see this in history? What other time in history did this very place exist where every different nationality came in one area?
Greece?
Babylon.
Oh.
We currently live in Babylon.
This is where the word Babylon Babylon means to babble means confusion.
Mm-hmm.
If you're babbling, I'm confused by what you're saying.
Right.
In the land of Babylon, they tried to come together. What you just said.
Mm-hmm.
One world.
Right.
One world order.
Right.
That's what they were trying to pull off. And God said, hell no. I ain't with that. I don't want one world order. I don't want one happy group of people. Or I would have just made one group of people.
Right.
There's a reason you have different groups of people. There's a reason you have lion, tigers, and bears and not just one species of cats,
Facts.
one species of dogs. There's a purpose for it. You may not understand it, but there's a purpose for it.
And even animals, they stay in their
Simple.
group.
Tigers stay with tigers.
You know what I'm saying?
Lions stay with lions. We're the only ones out of order. White people even beating you for being out of order, telling you to leave their women alone. They'll hang you for it. Yet we still want to be out of order.
You still want to be equal to them.
Because nature tells you, nature tells
There
you,
you go. You good.
nature tells you, stay with your people, be with your kind.
Mm-hmm.
We're not Egyptians. We got to find our own culture and then return back to it. I'm going to bring it home to you, too, while you got to do that. It's going to scare the bejesus
That's how
out
I
of
felt
you.
like when I went to HBCU. Minus the fact that I went to school.
Mhm.
I already know the conversation there. But the fact that I was just around my own people for 4 years. Look at you like you a leopard. There's those white people. And then there's the white people that just try too hard. That's like, oh, like, oh my God, girl, I love your hair, and oh yes, your nails. Period. Like they just try way too hard to be like, oh, I'm not racist, I'm pro-black. Like,
Yeah, nah.
get out my face.
What is
Like,
that?
I'm on my face with that.
that's what happens.
So let's go here, Mike.
Yes, sir.
You love the Most High?
Most definitely.
I'm talking about the black one.
What you mean you talking about the black?
Not the
Only
white.
one Most High.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. Some people think the white do. I was just making
Oh,
sure.
you gotta check.
Yeah, it's only one Most High.
I was just making sure. I was just double checking.
Boy.
So look, Cheyenne, you love the Most High?
Of course.
Okay. Everybody says
No
it.
hesitation.
Everybody says it. So let me read this. Because this is deep, right? So like, if a woman told you she loved you, it would require some kind of proof.
Most definitely.
Obviously.
Facts.
That's common sense, right?
Mm.
Same thing for God. We don't provide any proof.
We just say we love
We
God.
just say we love him. What's the proof? Where's the proof? How do you prove to God you love him?
By
Because
following his
he
commandments.
states it. Like a good parent would do, would tell you all the instructions.
Right.
But you said you love God. So
Right.
I'm asking, it's not trying to pick on you. I'm really asking. Perfect timing. So how do you demonstrate, like if you had a woman, you can demonstrate to her how you love her. You buy flowers, rubber feet, whatever you do, right?
Mhm.
Phone calls, whatever you do. How
How do I demonstrate that I love Most High?
Yeah.
By following purpose.
Whose purpose?
My purpose.
Hmm?
My purpose.
What if your woman says she gonna do what she wanna do, and that's how she show respect to you?
Mm.
That's what you just said.
I don't feel that. Nah.
No, that's literally what you just said.
That's
you
what
just,
I did?
You literally just said you do what you want to do, and that's how you show the God that you love Him. That's what you.
That's what I said? That's what I said?
You said.
Okay.
On purpose.
That's what you said. Y'all pull that mic
Your
to
own
you, brother.
philosophy.
Right?
Which one?
It don't matter. I can turn either one on. Pull that one. That's fine.
Continue.
All right. So the question was, tell me your name again, bro.
Donnie Bravo.
Donnie, that's a hell of a name.
That's a hell of a name.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. All right. So the question was, do you love God or the Most High?
Mhm.
What's your answer?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pose the same question to you. How do you demonstrate to God that you love Him? Because if it was your woman,
That's what he was saying.
right?
Yeah.
Because if it's your woman, you would buy her flowers, right? You would take her out to eat. You would do things. Because you can't just say it and then not provide any proof.
I think what he meant by
No,
saying
no, I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
I got
that.
the same answer though.
So what's your
It's just
answer?
in a different context.
So state your answer.
God gave me a gifts that I need, so I show my appreciation to Him by using the gifts that He gave me, and that's what I'm saying on my purpose.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the same thing that I said to him.
Mhm.
So if your woman told you that,
Mhm.
if she said, "I'm gonna show you I love you by doing what I want to do,"
No, God gave me gifts.
no. Listen to what I'm saying though. Why you gonna say no to your woman? If your woman told you she gonna do what she want to do,
Mhm.
and that's how she shows you that she loves you, does
She'll
that make
be
sense?
Dismissed.
Why?
Because she's not following me.
Because she's not demonstrating how you need to receive love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a certain way
That I need to be loved.
that makes sense to everybody, right? Let's read this then. I just wanted to get some clarification. This is 1 John 5:3. For this is the love of God, that you keep my commandments, and they are not grievous.
They're not hard. No.
That's what grievous means.
Grievous
Now,
is
hold
hard.
on.
It's like another word for hard.
I wanted to get to the
'Cause
part
he
that
read this
says,
to me a few times.
now if you say you love God and you don't keep his commandments, you're a liar.
Hmm.
So if you don't, this is out the scriptures. So we can no longer go with our own theology, because now we know. If you know, just like how you would treat your woman, you got to do certain things to demonstrate. So the only way God know that you love him, if you do what he told you to do.
Right.
You got to keep the commandments. One of the commandments you missed earlier, we talked about dyeing the hair. You missed that. He'll give you
Right.
the scripture on that when y'all leave.
What about dyeing your hair?
Yeah.
I know you're not supposed to.
Wait, you do?
For what if? So it says, what if pull this? What if
I
you
didn't know.
continue?
I thought
Cheyenne,
it was
type in
over.
KJV. What if you continue to sin willingly? Pull this. This is interesting.
I learned it after I did it already.
But your hair still dies. So let's. I want to get to you. Listen, brother.
Well, I was gonna dye it black and
This
then
is the-
until it got long enough to cut the black out. That was my plan. So yeah, so I don't have to cut it from the root because that ain't the
Right. This says it. The scripture says if you love your brother, rebuke him, meaning correct him. Give him the game. Right. I shouldn't keep the game to myself.
Most definitely.
Share it with my brothers. You feel me? Simple. You pull the
What
scripture.
was it again? 'Cause it was cute the way you said it. I'm sorry, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know you're not supposed to cut your hair or dye your
We
hair.
literally
Yeah,
Thank you
talk
for
about
being
the
on
cut
the
part.
square.
Yeah.
man.
You knew that. You
Yeah,
was
I already-
telling me
So
about
look.
yourself.
already self-know.
This from my man Donnie Bravo over here, okay? This is Hebrews 10:26. For if we sin willingly after we have received the knowledge, once somebody gives you your culture, your history, what you should and should not do, break it down out the scriptures, It says, if you sin willingly after that, there remaineth no more sacrifice for your sin. That means after today, you go die your shit again. You are going to be held accountable for that, no matter what. That shit is not coming off the line. So whatever the consequences of the payment is for that, breaking that law, you have to pay for that.
Okay.
You said that with confidence. I just told you one of the things you have to do is get thrown in the lake of fire. And I was on some bullshit. There's a story in the book of Maccabees. Just take a bite of bacon. The woman says no. He says, if you don't, I'm going to kill your children in front of you. He proceeds to scalp her children individually in front of her and throw them in the pot of boiling bacon grease, one by one. As he's going down the line to each child, she telling each child, good job, well done. She's proud of them. Think about that. So if the Lord allowed that to happen to them, that woman's kids, for keeping the commandments, I want you to put in perspective what might happen to you for breaking them. If they were, think about it, Native Americans were allowed to be scalped.
Most definitely, I know that much.
You should look up what scalping is.
Yeah.
They'll cut that shit off your head. They'll cut that shit off your head.
Yeah.
And take it back to the camp. The Lord allowed that to happen to his people. Why do you think he did that?
Punishment.
What were the Native Americans doing?
Testing the loyalty.
Human sacrificing, taking on other customs, shit they learned from Egypt. So what did he do?
Got no kids.
So we see what the results are going to be. We don't have to guess what the punishment is. We seen it.
Wait, you talking about the Trail of Tears?
Yeah, when they hung the women upside down and cut the babies out their stomach. Yeah, that's a punishment.
Damn.
So we don't have to guess and wonder what the punishment, how bad it can get.
So the Trail
And then it says it's going to be 7 times worse. I don't know what 7 times worse than being scalped and thrown into a thing of bacon grease is. I don't want to find out what that is.
Right.
You understand? So I just want to give y'all perspective to think, if he allowed this to happen to people who were keeping the commandments, how much worse is it going to be for the people who decide not to keep them? And the people who have the knowledge to keep them and then purposely decide not to keep them.
Right.
Right?
You say the Native Americans did
Right.
not keep their customs.
Correct.
So the Trail of Tears, we learned it in school. Right?
Right. Right, go ahead.
I was listening.
Keep talking. You're on air. Keep talking.
The Trail of Tears is when, not Columbus, but when some colonizers came on their land and they were gonna, take over their land, blah, blah, blah. I really don't remember.
They tried to do a deal with them first.
Right, at first
right.
they tried to make a deal. You know the whole deal with Indians and stuff and all that stuff. It was...
Vespucci.
Is that who it was? I don't remember who the name was. I just remember the Trail of Tears. And so, they went ahead and took it by force and killed all their people. But not kill, I mean, like, what he said, like, hung them from trees, ripped the babies out, like, on some torture type shit. Like, it wasn't playing. So that's what he's saying. That was their punishment, because the Native Americans weren't keeping their customs. They decided to adapt different customs. So because of that, and you can literally see just from history, we were not talking about the Bible, we were talking about history. Because of what they did, these white men just so happenly stumble upon these Native Americans and tortures and kills them and all that stuff. So that's kind of like the same thing here.
Right.
We lost our ways. We started to adapt different customs, and then out of nowhere, these white people and African people enslaved us.
Oh, but look, so let's finish on the topic. We're talking about customs, our customs, right?
Right.
You asked, what did the men wear?
Yes.
This is going to trip y'all out.
You said what they wear?
Yeah. What did they wear, right? We're talking about
code.
custom dress code, right? What did they wear? We started with the head. That's why we're talking about the dyeing of the hair. We talked about the beard. You can't shave your beard, the corners of your beard. Your brother will break that down for you when we leave. Trust me, he got you.
Yeah, razor bumps.
That's why.
Ezekiel 16:10. This is for Mike, because he was wondering what we wore. This is the Most High speaking. He said, I've clothed thee in embroidered works.
Ooh, that's
So you guys ever see the garments that the Chinese dudes wear with all them embroidered shit on there?
What you mean?
It has like a V cut.
So
and it's
hold on,
like-
let me no,
Yeah.
hold up. No, let's not guess. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
You'll see. You'll see. Once you see, you'll be like, oh yeah. You'll see exactly what they're doing. So the Chinese took that?
Hold on.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't know why they put bag on there though, but let me pull a picture up. So like when you see
Talking about a gi?
no, when you see let me see no, when you see like fuck. what culture is that? I want to say Middle Easterns
It might be them.
that wear like the
Saudi
embroidered.
Oh,
Yeah.
Saudi people
sorry.
wear 'em with the turbans, right?
I know exactly what you're talking
But embroidered work is stitched garments. So like anything that has like hella stitching in it.
about. Ooh, that's fancy.
Right. So when you see like the middle or like this, you see like Middle Eastern people or Middle Eastern women, they will have garments that have stitchings like this on them. So this custom actually comes from us, embroidering garments like this culture. So when you see like the Asian man, he has like his little gi thing on with all the embroideries on it. They actually got that from our customs. Also linen and silk. So we would wear garments that had a lot of embroidery on it, right? So they have a lot of designs in it. It would also have the fringes on it, right, along the bottom. Right. It also have the fringes on it along the bottom, and it'd be either linen or silk, right? That's our customs. We would also wear. You brothers don't have any. I think my brother had one on last time. So we would also wear studs, right? So you know, like the wristbands with the leather ones with the studs. That was our custom. So I know
Studs?
Yeah, so bikers wear it now with like the spikes and shit on there.
Yeah.
That's our custom.
That's why Hebrew Israelites be wearing those gauntlet things.
That's exactly why they wear that, right? So that's actually we're supposed to dress like this, so we stick out from everybody else, so that people could look at you and be like, oh shit, these exactly. That was the purpose.
Especially embroidered, like
Right.
that's not shit.
Also our custom, Cheyenne, you can appreciate this, were crowns. And also jewels on the forehead. So when you see
that was
East
actually
Indian women
something I was
and they
gonna
wear those
do.
crowns and they have like a little jewel dangling in the front,
Yep.
they stole that from y'all women,
Indians.
right?
Maybe
So
the-
y'all should dress your women in these garments,
That's definitely
right? With the embroidery.
No, I read that.
Right.
And I was like, ooh.
So you should wear a crown. You should wear your jewel on your forehead. Also for the men, earrings. It's part of our culture. They pull that up. I
did not know that.
earrings and chains. Pull
The
that up.
originals, bro.
I want to pull this up. Also, gold teeth.
I'll believe that too.
He said, I put a roll of jewels in your cheeks.
So if they have enough money for their
Our,
king, right?
no, it was just our custom. That was just our swag. We just had the drip. The Lord put the drip on us. He designed. This is why everybody copied.
Right.
This is why when you read the Israelite customs, then you can look at the world and see it's broken up all throughout the world now. Everybody has taken like for example, Middle Eastern men, they wear linen all the time, right? That's our custom. We're supposed to be rocking linen every day, being in linen
Come on now.
and silk
Right.
every day, with your studs on. You got it.
Your gold teeth.
That's
Hold on.
I like that.
That would be a look.
Also, one of our customs was a chain. Everybody has a chain on, right?
Most definitely.
That's spiritual. You didn't decide to do that.
Yeah, just
That's a spiritual thing. The Lord put that spirit on you. Where we at? Proverbs 25 and 12. Yeah, this is talking about and the earring of gold and the ornaments of fine gold. And he put a chain on your neck. And he says in Solomon 1 and 10, he says, thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels, and thy neck a chain of gold. We've been doing this since Jesus' time. We've been having gold grills and chains and earrings since Jesus' time. This is nothing new. You ever wonder why a nigga could be flat broke and got on a chain and you just, it don't even, to white people, it doesn't even make sense. They're like, nigga, why do you have a chain? You don't even have a car.
things so real on that.
It's spiritual, right? We connected to it like that.
That's why
Right.
it make us feel good.
So
Right.
what is the spiritual mechanism behind it?
That's what the Lord.
that our
Remember I told you about
customs.
DNA. Oh, you weren't here for the DNA. Remember I told you about DNA.
Right.
That's recorded in our DNA. That's why we innately
From
do
ancestors.
it. That's why we innately do it.
Right.
It's already in your DNA. It's already recorded history.
Just
Gotcha.
like the animal thing. So
Right.
like how the Bible speaks in parables of animals. So like I said,
Or in the
serpent
chat
and
room.
all that. But we call each other dogs. That's my dog. Oh, he a snake ass nigga. Like that literally the Bible, that's us. That's why
That's
they're
not a
saying
curse
that
word.
that's us.
That's
The
not a
Bible
curse
is
word.
about us.
A curse would be if I wish something down on you. That would be a curse.
We was talking about, they call people serpents, and we was talking about, that was you.
Yeah, we said today though. They say snake is a big term today.
No, I remember when we was talking about the parables. Of
Yeah.
Yeah, then that was I brought
Even so look, I'm gonna get this one too. This is Isaiah 52 and 1. This is to my brother right here.
Peace.
Put on your strength. So you asked me about your garments. So the garments I just told you about, your chain, your earrings, your right. Look, your studs, right? Your linen, your fringes. Most importantly, the fringes are designed to help you not sin. So in black culture today, we wear a cross to be a good Christian, right? So a cross is supposed to symbolize you're a good Christian. That's what it's supposed to do. No, that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't.
Christian-
Obviously it doesn't.
No.
Obviously it doesn't.
Yeah.
But the ideology, think about this. Christ was hung on the cross.
That's what I'm saying. That's
So that'd be like
sacrifice.
putting a shotgun on your chest if your brother got killed by a shotgun.
Most definitely, because like
Makes no sense, right?
every time I see the cross, you feel me? I think of sacrifice.
Right.
Sacrifice.
But you can tell that black people obviously want to show some appreciation
Right.
for and they want to stay online. That's why they're wearing the cross. The Most High tells you how to do it. He said, put fringes on all your clothes.
Fringes?
Yeah.
What's fringes?
Fringes is what the Native Americans wore. The little stringy things that came off.
Oh,
That's at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody ever told you why they was
Yeah.
wearing that shit. That's why they was wearing. Yeah, no, they didn't tell you. They just showed you.
Right.
The reason they were wearing it because they were keeping the custom that Moses gave them.
Right.
And the purpose of wearing the fringes was so you didn't forget the commandments. Imagine if I had a problem with a brother and we get in an argument, right? And I'm about to do something. I could look down at my fringes
I'm like, oh,
and be like, you know what?
I'm
Turn the
good.
other cheek.
Right.
Let this brother, give him a chance. Be a brother to him. I can reflect on the commandments.
Right.
If I see a sister, I'm gonna holler at that.
Right.
I gotta lift my fringes to hit.
Right.
That's gonna shut that shit down right there. You
So
gotta
it's a
look at
token
that.
of reminder.
That's all. That's what it's for,
Mhm.
right? And a daily reminder. We're supposed to do that with our children. Pass that law down. This is the point of it. It says, put on your strength. It says, awaken, awaken. Meaning, if you don't have your clothes on,
Mhm.
if you dress like we all dress like white men today, okay, that means we sleep. So this verse starts off. Isaiah 52:1 says, awake, awake, right? Put on your strength. So he's calling it when we wear our true garment. That's our strength.
Right.
Because we're letting everybody else know we actually know who we are.
Most
You
definitely.
can't trick us no more,
Right.
right? That's a dangerous thing.
Mhm.
So he's saying awake, awake, meaning we sleep right now, right? Put on your strength, oh Zion. Zion would be us, the nation of us, right?
Okay.
Put on your beautiful garments. So if he thinks what he said was beautiful, what do you think he feels about the shit we currently have on?
Trash.
Yeah.
That's going to tie into something. Now watch this. Right, put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. The other part just not going to make sense to y'all. So that's what we're supposed to put on our day-to-day basis. We're all supposed to have on fringes.
Right.
And it makes sense why you're supposed to wear fringes, right? For the women, dress modestly, right? So that you don't cause somebody else to look at you. Pretty simple. That seems like a good way to run a community to me. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's see what else. So jewelry is cool. For the ladies and for the men. Gold grill is cool.
Trying to get some tops and bottoms.
Yeah, I'm trying to rose gold the whole
Right,
joint.
right.
You feel
You
me?
said rose gold?
Dog. As soon as I read that, I said, dog, I'm
I
finna.
gotta get the cut.
So I was like,
I gotta get the cut.
yeah, I said say less. I'm finna rose gold the whole joint.
Oh, you know, I'll be looking smooth like butter.
So dig this. I'm gonna read this one and then I'm gonna close it out. The consequences of not putting on the proper garments. Okay.
Okay. What if you don't have access to the proper garments at the
You
moment?
do.
You do?
You do.
All that stuff be cheap, Loki.
See that? You find out.
All that be cheap.
Listen,
so
I wouldn't. After I read what's gonna happen if you don't have them on, you figure out if you need it. Right. But dig this though, because you said, what if you don't have? What if you can't afford these garments? Right. Let's say that's the case. I'm glad you see. That's how the Most High work. I pulled this verse where you said that. It's Isaiah 30:20. Okay. Although the Lord give you bread of adversity. What does that mean?
Choices.
Nah, he said the Lord gave you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. What does that mean? What's water of affliction?
Affliction means
Understanding?
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So what? Hindering water?
Nah, water of affliction would be tears. Right?
Okay.
Because if you see water coming down my face, obviously I'm going through something. I'm afflicted, right?
Right.
That makes sense, right?
That's cool.
It said, right. Although the Lord,
Pain.
nigga, the coldest rapper ever, nigga, you feel
Because
me?
he really did.
The coldest rapper of all time, bro. Every time I read the script, I'm like, yo, this cold, bro. This bars is cold. But so look, it says Isaiah 30:20. It says, although the Lord give you the bread of adversity, meaning if you're going through something, you can't afford something, you homeless, your woman cheating on you, you ain't got no food, you lost your job, your art ain't taking off, music ain't happening, anything. This is saying God did it to you. That's what this just said. He said, although the Lord give you the bread of that, meaning when you get adversity, the Lord gave it to you. When you got a problem doing something,
Right.
that's because of the Lord doing that to you. When you going through
And that's-
affliction, He did it to you. He taking all the credit, so you ain't got to guess.
Right.
You ain't got to blame the white man no more.
Right.
You can't yell at your
So,
woman no more. When she
would that-
cheat on you, the Lord did it. He put that in her spirit to go do it. She was already a floozy.
So would that go into the term of karma?
No.
Why not?
No, you gonna get what you plant. But that just makes sense. If I plant an apple seed, that's what's gonna grow. If I take care of the tree, that just makes sense, right? This is going into what's happening in your life. So why is the adversity coming your way?
So we can learn how to move through it.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. Because obviously you're not going the right way. That's what the adversity is. He's trying to show you something. So anytime, if anybody deals with any adversity in your life, you should search the scripture to figure out what law am I breaking that's causing this adversity. Because there's a law that he's trying to get you to fix so that we can get to the next level. You see what I'm saying? If you're a drug dealer, you smoke crack, you go to strip clubs, I got to go one by one. I got to break down each stronghold. I got to show you why it's not okay to deal drugs to your people. Then after you get that shit to your head, I got to show you why it's not okay to go throw money at the strip club. Then after you get that to your head, I got to show you, all right, this is why we got to start dressing this way. It's steps to it. I got to break each one down. You see what I'm saying? So that's the same thing we got to do. First thing I did was stop eating shrimp, crab, and lobster. That was an easy thing. I said, let's put that.
Shrimp, crab, and lobster.
Obviously part of the opposition.
Yeah.
So look, we all black. Let's take it to gang shit, right? If I pull up on your block and it's a beef between Bloods and Crips or whatever the color difference is, I'm not finna figure out who's a Blood and a Crip over here. Whoever got red on, getting hit.
Right.
I don't have time to question you. If it's up, if we going like that.
Right.
So in this time, it's gonna be the same thing. And it shall come to. Let me read this.